Alright, so it looks like school's in session once again. You guys heard everything about the new rumored, speculated Wii U specs. Just wanted to give my give my thoughts on this whole on the whole subject too. As usual, people running wild with the story have no clue what they're talking about. Let me interrupt myself for a minute. Most noobs that read a spec sheet like that will probably be disappointed because they're looking at clock speed alone. Now, these people obviously don't follow tech. They obviously don't follow the PC industry. Clock speeds, it's not about clock speeds. It hasn't been about clock speeds for a while now. The CPUs are just adding more cores and more cores and more cores. If you're expecting these systems to be clocked 8 gigahertz and stuff, like, that's not going to happen. That runs too hot. 3 to 4 gigahertz, 3 to maybe 5, possibly 5 gigahertz, that's where it's at. And I'm speaking for the next Sony and Microsoft systems. If you're thinking they're going to be 10 gigahertz, 9 gigahertz, nigga, you just dumb. And the thing that's crazy about that is these are supposed to be journalists, gaming professionals. Yet these gaming professionals see those kind of specs and still claim that the Wii U is similar in power to the 360. Really? Really? And it's not even the same architecture. Has the GameCube taught y'all niggas anything? I mean, let's go with what the specs say. The alleged specs. It says 4 cores. Last time I checked, the 360 was 3 core. Is 3 all of a sudden more than 4? Obviously in Sony drone land it is. Oh yeah, and before you Sony drones out there try to say that the PS3 has 7 cores, no, it doesn't. It has 1 core and SPs, or SPAs, or however the heck that's pronounced. They're not cores. Cores can stand on their own. PS3 has 1 PPE core and SPs. The SPs cannot work without the core because they're not cores. Back to the program. 768 megs of RAM. Last time I checked, that's more than 512. Unless, I don't know, am I tripping? Or am I tripping? I thought 700 was more than 500. I don't know. Maybe I've been working a lot. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But what's really funny is when I hear people say things like that. It just proves that they have no clue what eDRAM is. That's why when I actually saw those specifications, most people in the know that know what eDRAM is said, wow, that's impossible. You can't have that much eDRAM on a CPU. Make the CPU huge and run too hot and or be ridiculously expensive. I'm talking like more than PlayStation 3 at launch expensive. Well, these people obviously don't know what eDRAM is, but from what I hear, it might have even been a mistranslation on the spec sheet. They might have meant, was it megabytes instead of bits? Small MB instead of big MB, so it actually translates to 96 megs, which is still a gargantuan amount of eDRAM. Somebody left this as a comment towards me, but I'm not going to hold that against him because I actually saw the article that he read that would get him to say that. But he said, yeah, the Wii U has 760 megs of eDRAM and the PS3 has none, so that means that the Wii U could be 768 times more powerful than the PS3. No. No, it doesn't work that way. Let's put it this way. The GameCube has 3 megs of eDRAM. Does that mean that the GameCube is 3 times more powerful than the PS3? No. The 360 has 10 megs of eDRAM on this graphics chip. Does that mean it's 10 times more powerful than PS3? No, it doesn't work that way. But people don't seem to see how important having that much EDRAM on the system actually is, because they don't understand what EDRAM is. Now, for the system to have that much EDRAM, it's probably not, if that's true, it's probably not going to be used in the same way it's used on the Wii and on the GameCube and on the Xbox 360, because on those systems, it's only used for texture memory and a frame buffer. That's it. So to have that large amount dedicated strictly to that would be insane. So if that happens to be true, of it having 768 to a gig of EDRAM embedded on the CPU, that means that's probably all of the system memory. Otherwise that'd be overkill if it wasn't, because that would be more than enough. The thing that's funny to me about the Wii U is that it's obvious that Nintendo's like tipping their hat back into the graphics game again, and you still got a bunch of people saying, well, I don't know, I think Nintendo's lost it. And I've heard some people, even on the NeoGAF forums, say that, oh, I don't know if Nintendo can do shaders. Really? Like, Nintendo, one of the top game developers in the world, yeah, they can't do shaders. Really, son? Wow. And like, really, it's like, use your brain. Super Nintendo, better graphics than the Genesis. N64, better graphics than the PS1. GameCube, better graphics than the PS2. They come out with the Wii. Now all of a sudden people think that Nintendo knows nothing about graphics? Come on, son. Now, actually, it's been rumored for a while that the Wii U CPU is actually supposed to have, what is it, 32 megs of EDRAM, which is still an insane amount. So 32 of that of EDRAM for the CPU, and rumored amount of RAM for the graphics chip is supposed to be anywhere from 1 gig to 2 gigs, which I would be completely happy with. So yeah, it's looking like, in looking at the press release from IBM, they said it's going to have a large amount. So anywhere from 32 to a gig of EDRAM, even though a gig, like, I don't think that's going to happen, but even 32, that's a huge amount for a console, for a CPU. That's crazy. CPUs on game consoles usually have hardly any memory at all, like on the die. So that's a big deal. It's gonna make the data transfer rates just it's gonna be crazy. I love how people claim that Nintendo doesn't know how to do graphics, yet the Xbox 360, the most praised developer platform this entire generation, is a modernized GameCube. Very funny. Microsoft looked at what Nintendo did with the GameCube and made the 360. IBM, check. ATI, check. EDRAM, check. The 360 is a modernized GameCube, period. You see, Microsoft knows what the deal is. The GameCube was probably the most elegant piece of hardware the gaming industry had ever seen. And the Wii U is probably going to be the GameCube of next generation in regards to clock speed versus power, because we're looking at a system that is going to be lower clocked than its competition. But to be honest, there ain't gonna be much of a difference. I've been telling you guys this for months and months and months, way before developers said anything, way before anybody said anything. But now slowly but surely, it's all starting to make sense now, isn't it? I told you. Especially you Sony drones. Y'all know I told you. Nintendo has left you no choice. Wii's up, drones down. Wii U mad?